Hey crew, it is February 25th, Sunday. I'm sitting in the van outside Brad Lunda's house, and I want to make a quick video about something I did for Tom. And I didn't mention this at all to you, but Tom is really into airsoft, and I don't know if you're familiar with airsoft. It's essentially little plastic BBs that people shoot at each other, and there's a bunch of YouTube channels that are dedicated to airsoft, games where there are guys in particular who are the kind of exciting ones are guys who are snipers, and they'll go somewhere and hide, and then they have cameras set up on their little airsoft sniper rifles, and they show footage of them shooting people and them getting shot. And Tom plays airsoft a lot with Justin Fisher, and he has a bunch of other friends, a guy named Andy who's a dentist. And he's occasionally, tried to get me to go out with him, and I haven't made it yet. I may in the future. But, it's one of those things where I just, for what I'm doing with my time, I have other things that I want to be doing. It would probably be really fun, actually. It would probably be a blast. But I haven't gotten into it. But anyway, regardless of that, I came across a couple of videos on YouTube, and I started watching some videos of these guys when I was working out. I'm always looking for things to watch when I'm working out to keep me from thinking about whether I'm tired or not. And so I watched some airsoft stuff. Anyway, there's this one guy who is a German engineer who has built his own sniper rifle, and Tom had mentioned that he watched his videos, and so I started watching some of his videos. And this guy now produces and sells these airsoft sniper rifles, and they're kind of expensive. They're not like over the top expensive, but they're for a toy they're expensive. And so I was looking at him, and I'm like, I should get Tom one of these, because I haven't gotten him a birthday present in years, and he would really like it, I think. And so this was last November, and I went ahead and ordered one for him. I talked to Sarah, and I said, "Is it okay if I do this?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then it was back ordered, and they're way behind on production. So I was like, "Oh man!" And so I wasn't sure it was going to get here by February, but it got here like a week and a half ago. And before I ordered it, I actually I watched some videos, and I talked with Justin. I said, "Hey, I'm thinking of getting Tom a sniper rifle, but do you guys have limitations on I don't know how much power they have, or I don't know, there's things like that." And he said, no, just get him anything, it doesn't matter." And so I ordered it, and it didn't show, and then it just shows up like I said, a week and a half ago. So I sent a picture of it to Justin. I said, "I have to share this with somebody. Don't tell anyone, because I don't want Tom to find out." And so Justin saw it, and he actually told Andy, Tom's friend that they play with. And so they've been hanging out with Tom this last week, and Andy kept on talking about this sniper rifle and how great it was, and how he was thinking he was going to get one, and Tom should think about getting one in this. And meanwhile, I know I'm coming up, and I called Tom, and I said, "Hey, let's get together. I'd like to, get together with you, on Friday, maybe after we get up." And he's like, "Okay, yeah." I get off work at 3:30, and I was like, "Well, I'll meet you at 4. So I drive into town, and we just bought Gareth a new little Subaru station wagon, with 250,000 miles on it. So I was driving that into town, so I didn't have to drive the van. And I meet Tom at the Daily Grind, and I go in, and he's like, "Let's go for a walk." And I was like, "Yeah, that's great." And I've got his rifle in a case in the back of the car, and I put Garrett's coat over it so that nobody could see it, because I was worried that in a college town especially, people would know what it was and it might get stolen. So we're walking out, and I said, "Hey, have you seen Garrett's new car?" And I take him over to the car, and he's like, "Oh wow, this is nice." And I open the trunk, and I pull the coat off of it, and he looks at it, and at first he has this blank look on his face, and his eyes get really big. He goes, "Oh my God." And I said, "Happy birthday." And he's like, what? And he's like, for me? For me? And it was like he was so, it was like he couldn't compute the whole thing. It was amazing. It was like one of the best gift giving experiences ever. And it was probably, I mean, it seemed like forever. It was probably, it may have been 10-15 seconds, but he had this, like, he didn't believe it, and he kept on asking me. He's like, for me? And I was like, yeah, it's for you. It's your birthday present. And he was like, no, and he just couldn't believe it. And then he was like, his hands were shaking, and he was like, and he like picks it up, and he's like, take a picture of it. I got to text Andy. And so I took a picture of him with it, and he texted Andy, and then he was talking to, you know, he sent Andy a text, and Andy, and then he found out Andy knew that I had bought it for him. So it was absolutely the best. And then, so this was Friday, and then yesterday he, in the evening, he came out, and we had a big Yummy High get together, and he brought it out to Brad's, and he hadn't had a chance to shoot it yet, because it's got like 100 meter range, and and he doesn't have a place he can shoot it actually near his house. So we took it out, and I shot it with him, and he was just like so excited, and it's so cool. And the thing is that you know how this is. It's really hard. The number of times in your life where you have an opportunity to give someone something that they really, really, really want, and really, really surprise them, it's a very small number of times. And it was just, and I was a little worried, you know, I bought it for him, and he'd mentioned, the last time I talked to him, he said, yeah, I've got a sniper rifle, but, you know, I don't, you know, my friends have some nicer ones, but you know, it works for me, and I'm good, and da-da-da-da. And I was worried he was going to be like, oh, you know, I kind of wish you'd spend money on helping me fix up my backyard or something instead, more practical. But it was awesome. He just was so excited. It was pretty much the best. So when I cut this together, I'll paste in a picture of the rifle. I've got one somewhere. But anyway, it was so cool. I wanted to share it with you. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'll talk to you more later.